The Lost Daughter is a 2021 psychological drama film written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal in her feature film directorial debut. It is based on the 2006 novel of the same name by Elena Ferrante. The film stars Olivia Colman, Dakota Johnson, Jessie Buckley, Ed Harris, and Peter Sarsgaard. In the film, the lead character, Leda, discloses that she is named for the woman in the W.B. Yeats poem Leda and the Swan, which Yeats based on the Leda story of Greek mythology. Maggie Gyllenhaal said that Elena Ferrante, the author of the source novel, only approved the film's adaptation if it would be directed by a woman. And Dakota Johnson actually dropped out of another movie called Don't Worry Darling to appear in this film so she could work with Maggie Gyllenhaal. Now, The Lost Daughter is a fascinating piece of filmmaking, and Olivia Colman is spellbinding as the elusive and complex Leda Caruso. You are slowly taken on a journey with Leda as she begins a holiday in Greece. Now, firstly, when you start watching the movie, you can't quite work out what the story is, or who Leda is, or why you should invest in her. But through brilliant acting and superb direction by Maggie Gyllenhaal, you get taken in by this woman's story. There are times in the film that you will feel sympathy for Leda, but there are other times when you'll feel very frustrated with her, as she is socially awkward and quite offish to other people, as she seems to lack basic social graces. There are also times in the film when you'll completely identify with her, as she just wants to have a peaceful break on her own. She has a busy life as a professor, and yet her holiday now is interrupted by a huge family gathering of loud, brash and wealthy people who have little regard for Leda and her trying to have some quiet time. She initially comes into conflict with them, but it's just one member of the family that catches her attention and draws her in. A young mother, Nina, played by Dakota Johnson, who I thought was excellent in this film and really played off Olivia Colman's Leda perfectly. Nina is a reluctant young mother, and for some reason Leda identifies with her. It is now we are introduced to the young Leda, played superbly by Jessie Buckley. You see how young Leda struggles to balance work life with personal life, how she struggles to be a professor as well as a mother. She's not a natural mother and not naturally caring and giving of her time to her daughters, and she really battles to find the balance. Now, for me, as brilliant as Colman is as the older Leda, it's Buckley who steals the show as the young Leda. Now, when you start watching the film initially, you have to accept that this will be the younger version of the same character we've just watched. But through sheer brilliant acting, Jessie Buckley makes you believe that she is Olivia Colman's Leda in a younger version. She plays the role verbatim like Colman, with every movement and speech cadence perfected perfectly to be on par with Colman's version. It's now that we get the full picture. We see a woman with regret. We see a woman that looks back on her previous life and thinks, I could have been a better mother. It's not that she doesn't love her children, it's just that she lacks a basic maternal instinct. And it's now we begin to understand her fascination with Nina. She can speak an unspoken language with her as she identifies with the reluctant mother. Once again, though, through social awkwardness, Leda makes some strange decisions that pay out in the end. Now, it was nice to see Ed Harris again in a small but interesting role as the hotel caretaker who tries to relate to the vacillating Leda. Leda is a fascinating character. Enigmatic, intelligent, awkward, complex, and yet has so many misgivings, some relatable, some frustrating, but always perplexing. The Lost Daughter is a well-made movie, and Maggie Gyllenhaal can be proud of her debut as a director. But it is the acting of Colman, Johnson, and particularly Buckley that stand out for me. The Lost Daughter gets an 8 out of 10.